Eric, when I go like this, you can change the slide, okay?
Okay.
What?
When I say change the slide, change the slide. You ain't
All right. You're live. You can go now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our winter virtual community forum. Today is Wednesday, December 2nd, and we're pleased to have the opportunity to share with you updates regarding the Sandusky City Schools' most recent work. And we'll have an opportunity today, as well as we normally do, to have open Q&A and be able to answer questions in real time. So thank you for joining us. Please call another parent or neighbor or friend and inform them that Sandusky City Schools is on live via Facebook. And we're here today to share an update with the parents and students and larger community about things occurring in our school district. I am joined this evening by members of the senior leadership team. We are present here at the Board of Education building on Decatur Street. I'm joined by our Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer, Mr. Jeff Hall, by our Chief of Staff and Transformation Officer, Dr. Sturgill, and by our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Cade, is with us this evening as well. So again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to a productive meeting. So we want to acknowledge our school board members and thank them for their ongoing support. Our board president, Mrs. Martha Murray, and all members of the Board of Education. Thank you for your ongoing support as we all go through this amazing period of time known as the pandemic. And I want to just again express our appreciation to our parents, our citizens, our residents who have been extremely patient, extremely understanding, and we ask for your continued support as we maneuver through these very challenging periods. So let's get started with our slide presentation. And tonight I'd like to share with you the goals of our presentation today. And the slide presentation is available on our website, and you'll be able to download it and share it with individuals. Tonight, we have about five basic goals. One of them is to simply update our parents and our community on the development of our reentry plan. We will have an update from Dr. Sturgill following me on our protocols, our procedures, our guidelines, and all the rules associated with our COVID related matters in the district, how we are managing the process, and we encourage questions on any of these areas. Our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Cade, will update us today on the district's academic priorities as we go through the next 3 weeks in the calendar year of 2020. And then in the first couple of weeks of January of 2021, we'll be talking about our priorities through the first quarter of the next year, actually the third quarter of the school year. We'll briefly talk today about our 2030 initiative. Many of our parents will remember us talking about this at the start of the school year in January, and actually in the fall. We were scheduled to roll out this effort in March or April of this year, but obviously we had some other priorities. The 2030 initiative is our 10-year strategic plan designed to lay out the framework of the district's vision, our strategies, our goals over the next decade. We believe it's important to have a framework from which to build, and we're excited to talk about that, and you'll hear a little bit more detail on that this evening as well. And then our fifth goal, of course, is to respond to your questions and answers in real time. And so we can go to our next slide, and we're talking briefly about the reentry plan and kind of where we're at. So as you well know, a couple of weeks back, prior to Thanksgiving, we made the decision to take the entire district to remote status or virtual status. And we've been on that starting Monday of this week, which is November 30th, and we'll be on the 100% virtual platform through MLK, Dr. MLK Day on January 18th, 2021. On that January 19th, we will be returning to our options of in-person or parents can still maintain the virtual option for the third quarter of the school year. And we also reminded our constituents that as we made our recommendation, we based it on a number of factors. Some of those factors included communication and updates and data from the Erie County Health Department. We've worked very closely with them. We also have continued to update our communications work in the district in terms of how we report out our COVID-19 information. You hear later today about our daily 4 p.m. report that's on our website about how our district is managing the incidents associated with COVID-19. There are staffing and personnel implications that we looked at. We also looked at parent requests, those who were in the process of requiring or requesting a transition from in-person to virtual. We also reviewed our sanitation, cleaning, timelines and communications to our internal staff about our buildings and grounds. We think that's important to keep you updated on how we're sanitizing the building and making it ready for the work that we need to do. We also looked at what's happening in our region and area and statewide. We also reviewed our athletics and extracurricular activities protocols. And perhaps the most important thing we did was we provided an opportunity for parents, students, faculty, staff, and administrators and the larger community to give us feedback on the survey about their thoughts about our next steps for the reentry plan. And obviously, we work closely with all components of the district's work as it relates to food service, transportation, and building maintenance, and ensuring that our technology preparation is ready to go. Those were the key factors that we looked at. I also like to take this opportunity, and whenever we talk to our parents, to talk a bit about what my goals are as the CEO and superintendent of the Sandusky City Schools. And that's on our next slide. And it lays out for you 3 sort of broad areas of focus for this year. And the first one, as you recall, is essentially our need to express care, concern, and have exemplary customer service to our students and parents during this amazing period. We also want to work diligently on our digital platform. You'll hear a little bit about that tonight in our my colleagues who will be sharing out. And then finally, we want to talk a bit about, as we go into the next part of our school year, about our strategy and our transformation vision for the district going forward. So even though we're in this amazing period, we still need to be focused on what the direction of the district is and how we need to plan and prepare for it. So tonight, again, our goal is to lay out some of our key updates and information. Dr. Sturgill, our Chief of Staff and Transformation Officer, will be coming up in a moment, who will lay out some of our protocols and rules and procedures around the COVID perspectives that are happening in the Sandusky City Schools. So Dr. Sturgill, you want to come up and take us to the next phase of our work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanders, and hello to all our Blue Streaks, and thank you for joining us today on our virtual forum. So let's start off talking about athletics. And this is one of my favorite seasons, basketball. Love to go and watch basketball, whether it be on TV or in person. We also have wrestling, swimming, cheerleading, a lot of events going on during the winter months. But fortunately, we're in a pandemic, and there's things we have to do to maintain safety for our staff and athletes. So the SBC has adjusted its ticket policy, and for all games starting until at least January 1st. starting actually yesterday. For athletes, they'll be able to get 4 tickets to home games and 4 immediate family. And immediate family is defined as parents, step-parents, siblings, grandparents, or legal guardian. So again, at home games, those athletes will get four tickets, and away games. Tickets will be limited to 2 per athlete, maybe 1 based on the venue of where that game is at. All we're asking is that you are flexible and work with us as we go through this this winter season. But the great thing about this is that we are going to stream some of our games live, and so we'll have more information on what games we'll be streaming on our website. So stay tuned. You'll be able to see games on our website. So we'll have more information about that. Let's talk about food service. If you go to our website and click on meal distribution sites under Sandusky News, you'll see the times and also the places that we will distribute our meals. Also, if you go to the next slide, you'll see these are the actual sites. It's pretty important that families, you take advantage of the breakfast and lunch that we provide. All right, I know our students need it and we want to provide it. If you have any questions or concerns about any of the food service, the meals, the sites, first of all, contact your principal, but then contact my office and let's work with you. Very important is academics, but equally as important is the mental health of our students. And I'm sure Dr. K is going to talk a little bit about some of the supports, at least social emotional, is very important for our students and also our staff. Our student services put together a guide for families. It's about 10, 11 pages that offers all the resources that families can access here in our county. So if you get a chance, if you go to our website, again, it's on Student Services Resource Guide. It's on our website under Sandusky News. You just click on it and you'll have access to all of these resources. So please take advantage of it. Very important. Also, I just want to, you've probably seen this slide before. I just want to put it out there. It's going to be on our website of our social workers and counselors, their phone numbers and their emails. I think it's important that, again, if you are having trouble, you need support, please reach out to one of these members of our student support services. They are fantastic. They do a great job. And again, they're their phone number and also their email. So let's talk about COVID-19 protocols. This is, I guess, one of the biggest items I get a lot about our protocols, what we're doing with the pandemic. And I could say this, and Doc will say this is something that, you know, we are educators, and being in the pandemic, this is something that is definitely different, as we have never dealt with a pandemic, or maybe never will in our educational lives. So thank you for being patient, but also flexible as we go through this. So every day we talk to Erie County Health Department. They are our partners. They are in collaboration with us, and they do a fantastic job. They contact us, we contact them, and we are partners. So every day at 4 p.m., the district sends out an update on our positive COVID-19 cases. Even today at 4 p.m., you either got a call or a text about the cases that are in this district. Also, you could go on our website, you click on district, click on Coronavirus Hub, and then scroll down to COVID-19 reporting. And when you go to COVID-19 reporting, you can see today's numbers, but also have access to the previous days and the COVID-19 cases from those days. Again, we want to thank you for being patient, flexible, and working with us as we go through this pandemic. All right, so stay safe. And next is my partner in crime, Dr. Cade.
Thank you, Dr. Sturgill. I'm going to take this opportunity to wish everyone a good evening, all of the Blue Streaks, but also just to stop for a moment. And again, I want to thank all of our administrators, principals, district office administrators, and teachers for your continued dedication and effort during these very unprecedented times. I have to say that the work continues because our leaders, our principals, and our teachers continue to carry the brunt of this very unique time in education. So first of all, I want to start with our assessment update because as educators, we use information to really inform how we support your child's success at home. And so we started off by discussing MAP NWEA testing during our first forum in the spring, and we have successfully completed that. That is important because what that does is it gives us a baseline in terms of your child's academic temperature, how much growth or how much learning regression possibly could have taken place during the school closure and during the summer. So we've completed that testing. We're in the process of analyzing that, and we'll use that data to inform our instructional practices in the classes and to develop intervention groups or to develop acceleration groups for your children. The Ohio State testing environment has not changed. We are still preparing for state testing. In fact, we completed our third grade reading guarantee testing this fall. We've done that with seamlessly our teachers and our administrators scheduled tests individually and in groups where we were able to successfully socially distance kids and get that testing done. That's important because third grade is a tremendously important benchmark in terms of our future success, in terms of graduation rates, and proficiency in reading is a huge indicator for a young person's outcomes in terms of education. Currently, we're in the process of, because we're remote, scheduling our high school end of course fall test retakes for seniors only. So you'll be hearing from our high school team in terms of scheduling those tests so that we can safely administer those to students who are up for graduation either in the spring or at the end of this year. They will be our priority. We will have another spring administration for other end of course exams. And then of course, our collective teacher efficacy project, the academic 5K. These are goals that we set with each child around their academic growth and their potential. It provides for our young people an opportunity to understand who they are as learners. It provides for our teachers a roadmap for how to get our young people to their dreams and their aspirations. So as a parent, you should be asking your school's administration or your child's teacher about their academic 5K goals. Students need to be academically fit, just as we parallel that to physical fitness. We want to continue to understand that our responsibility as educators is to continue to educate our young people. And so the academic 5K provides us with a framework to continue that work. You can move to the next slide. Thank you. So I'm happy to report, and I know that Dr. Sanders and the board was happy to see that we were able to seamlessly transition back to virtual learning. And that's important because that means that our teachers and our administrators did the work that needed to be done in order to enact that process. In addition to that, we'll be virtual for the remaining of the second quarter, which will end January the 19th. We'll continue to advance our SEED framework, which is social emotional supports and self-care opportunities for our staff, explicit instruction and teaching new content and skills, and enrichment opportunities, which really focuses on interventions and closing those learning gaps and utilizing digital-based tools, whether those are games or ExactPath or other tools that really have the opportunity to personalize instruction for our young people. This is a huge part of our academic recovery plan. In addition to that, what you can expect is that you can expect that we will continue to develop resources for all stakeholders. We're going to continue to develop resources for parents to increase the effectiveness of virtual learning. We'll continue to develop resources for our teachers who have been doing a yeoman's job at really navigating the new digital environment that they have become to be a part of their regular process in terms of teaching. We're going to continue to support our administrators also as we increase our effectiveness in the virtual learning environment and landscape. We're going to continue to offer those professional development opportunities. And so we will continue with our professional development schedule that we put out. You should have received a joint letter from myself and our CEO, Dr. Sanders, providing you with some context around our assessments, our grade reporting timelines, in addition to what you can expect in terms of what the work that we're doing here. So let's go back to a profile of a graduate. Dr. Sanders touched on this lightly. Prior to the COVID school closures, Sandusky City Schools had started our work around engaging our stakeholders in trying to imagine what a profile of a graduate would look like in terms of what was the knowledge needed for students who graduate from Sandusky City Schools, what would be the skills set that they need, and the disposition. We're going to pick that work back up because we're still in the business of educating kids, and the culminating event for what we do here in Sandusky City Schools is graduating your child from Sandusky High Schools. And so you'll hear more as a part of incorporating that work into our Envisioning 2030 project that our CEO touched on earlier. And so please look out for that. We'll be asking parents questions through a survey, which will focus on what the knowledge, skills, and dispositions are that we need for students in terms of a profile of a graduate. And finally, just to provide you with a few quick tips to support effective virtual learning at home, we want you to continue to monitor your child's social, emotional, and academic status. As Dr. Sturgill pointed out, we have the supports if you need them. And so if you see a change in your child's mood, if you notice your child struggling in any way, we're here to help you. Again, establish home learning routines. It's vitally important that if you can, identify a dedicated quiet space for your child while they're learning at home virtually. It would be great. One of the things that I did was I purchased a folding table, a simple folding table, and I put it in my son's room, and I put his laptop so he's able to keep all of his textbooks, his laptop on his folding table, and he knows that when he takes his classes and he's in college, he goes to his makeshift desk, which is a quiet space that's dedicated to his learning. And I suggest that we figure out a way, you figure out a way to do that also. Ask for feedback and participate in scheduled times for feedback on your child's learning. We have committed our staff to doing what we are calling academic conferences while we're virtual. It's vitally important for our staff to increase our interactions with parents at home to intervene before kids fail. That is the primary goal of our academic conferences. It's so that we can intervene with you as the parent to get supports to your child before your child fails. So continue to communicate with your child's teacher, your child's school. I know that many of our schools are using Class Dojo, but you can also look forward to scheduled academic conference times, and that'll be established by your building principals. And so you should reach out. It'll be set up based on your child's age and in terms of age appropriateness. In addition to that, be sure your child is following virtual classroom procedures. There are procedures that your child's teacher has established, just like there's procedures when your child is in person or face-to-face learning. For attendance purposes, it's important that you follow the classroom procedures for attendance, that your child participates virtually, and that they complete their assignments in their timelines. We can go to the next slide. One of the ways that we can do that is that as a parent, be sure that anything that your child is doing while they're on the Google platform, that you understand how to get into the Google platform too. And we'll provide you with that training if that's not something you know how to do. But also, when your child is doing their video conferencing, please be sure that anything that's visible while your child is engaging in that video conferencing is appropriate for other people to see. We've had many instances where families, unfortunately, we've seen some inappropriate things, inappropriate dress, people not fully dressed, language that's not appropriate for other kids or other families to hear, or parents having conversations in the background. And so I'm going to just encourage you to remember that although we're virtual, those video conferencing times, be sure that your child is positioned in a place and everything that's visible is appropriate for others to see. And then finally, and most important, ask us for help. We're here to help you. We're here to help your child. And again, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. We were able to seamlessly transition back to you. We're here to help your child. So we want to thank you for joining our community forum, and I look forward to any questions that you may have. Dr. Sanders will be returning.
Thank you very much. And we wanted to spend about half of the time today in just a presentation. So the first 25 minutes, we've been able to provide an update and overview. And I actually use my technology to actually see the actual questions myself, so I can run down through them and attempt to respond. My colleagues, Mr. Hall, our Chief Financial Officer. So if you do have a question about our budgets or school finance matters, Mr. Hall is able to respond. And then Dr. Cade and Dr. Sturgill have joined me here at a socially appropriate distance to be able to respond to questions that you may have as well. I want to start out with one question that we know we got some feedback on the day that we had our virtual snow day in terms of the phone call that went out about 12:30 a.m. In the middle of the night. So that was a mix-up on our part. We apologize for waking you up out of your slumber and sleep. I know how precious that is. And so we were using a previous protocol that directed our team to send a one call out to alert people that a snow day was occurring, but we also wanted people to know, students to know, that we were having school that day and that it was to be remote. So it wasn't a day off. And so we will make sure that we update our process to make sure that that doesn't happen. But we still want to use every possible way to communicate with you, and we'll continue to do that. I do want to acknowledge one email that I got from, I won't use her last name, one of our parents. First name is Amy, not my sister, we're not related, but she noted, Dr. Sanders, please don't take away the magic of snow days from our children. 2020 has taken so much from them. Let them wake up to the thrill of the snow and excitement to go outside and play in it. Sincerely, a quarantine parent who wants her hardworking children to be able to play in the first snow of the season. So we'll take that under advisement in terms of how to manage the snow days, but obviously academic priorities are our most important priority. I want to thank this parent and many, many others who are working hard to make sure their kids get exactly what they need to receive. I'm going to run down through the questions here that I have on my phone, and then I'll ask my team members to respond. And so the first one has to do with the cost of watching the games that are streamed. So Dr. Sturgill, can you provide what the cost structure is for those parents who want to watch a game that's streamed? I know we've been doing some streaming of some of our athletic events.
Yeah, I don't have the cost right now, but I'll get it on the website tomorrow.
Okay.
For those families.
I can actually provide an estimate.
Okay, good.
I mean, I can sit right here. I'm sure everybody can hear me because I'm a bit boisterous at times. But I believe the cost is around $14. It depends on whether you want to keep the copy of the game and have the, be able to refer back to it and stream it. But I also believe, and we'll confirm this because I just remember the contract with the company that's handling it for us. roughly, I believe, the connection is around $7. So
Yeah.
it's right around the cost, if not $7.50, right around the cost of admission anyway. So if you want to keep the broadcast and refer back to it, it's a little bit more, but just to watch the contest, it's around $7.50.
All right, so let's get that on our website. We'll update it.
Yeah, we'll get the prices out to them.
Absolutely.
Janet Euler has a question about students currently being unable to print from their home printers from school laptops. How can we get an update sent virtually to these devices to make this possible? There are many instances where paper copy is beneficial to our students, and we're currently unable to do that. I don't know if that's based on a by printer type of situation. I know Eric Eckenrode is probably on the line. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Something that we can look into?
I can look into it in the future, but it is very complicated to pull off with
Okay.
stuff at home.
All right, so we'll look into that. Well, I do acknowledge that technology is certainly here with us and is a wave of the future for sure. There are many of us in my generation that still love a good old fashioned hard copy of a document to work off of. Mr. Trevino has asked a question about, are we able to include our crossing guards to help with lunch handouts since we are struggling with staff levels to assist with daily lunches? So, Dr. Sturgis, that's something we
The
can
answer
look
is
into.
yes. Mr. Kraft asked me on Monday about it, and I still told him yes, we can use our crossing guards, and he's working with our HR department to make sure that happens.
And we're looking probably for volunteers as well, is my guess.
Yes.
So if there's any parent or parent groups or organizations, service clubs or other organizations that's looking for ways to help out during this challenging period, we encourage you to contact our offices here. I would go through Dr. Sturgill or Mr. Kraft. Brad Kraft is the district's in charge of our food service and nutrition program. And so you can reach him by email, and all these emails are listed on the district's website. There's a question also maybe from Mr. Trevino as well about, can you share schedules of cleaning times and frequencies? So the answer is yes. We met with all of our faculty and staff members across the district. I meet regularly with our custodial and cleaning staff, and there is a schedule for each building. We've been a bit challenged by securing enough bodies, candidly, to provide custodial help and support. But I do know those schedules are available, and I don't personally have any problems with making them public. But is that something that we can do, Dr.
Yes, the
Sturgill?
schedules, every principal has a schedule for Mr. Toms on the cleaning times, and we are able to get them out.
And if we want to post it, that's fine too. No big deal in terms of what the schedules are. And again, this is an effort where we need everybody to put their best foot forward in terms of making sure our space is as safe as possible. And again, I do want to join all of my colleagues in expressing our appreciation to our staff members and to our colleagues, our principals who are on the front lines, really doing an amazing job of making sure that we're delivering the best possible education that we can. And we're all working extremely hard to deliver quality programming to you on a daily basis. So we will continue to do that. There's a question from Jennifer Gast about, could there be a way to have on the letter, could there be a way to have on the letter the total COVID cases along with the new ones? So I know every day we send out a update at 4 p.m. sharp every day. I don't know if we include the total cases or not, but again, the data is what the data is. So we can add a caveat. Now, each district does it a little differently. I think we do it very well in terms of accurate, updated, one channel where that information comes from. So you know every day. I know we send text messages out, so you can click on it every day at 4 o'clock and get that information. One of our great orchestra teachers, Mr. Nitsky, has asked about, please explain how it's safe to have athletic competition in December, but not safe to have music concerts? Great question. One that we have been responding to in various forums since the start of the year about the differences between athletic and extracurricular programs and other school-related programs. So the basic answer is that the athletic related matters fall under the Ohio High School Athletic Association, and they have laid out very clear communications and directives about how the protocols will work for those student athletes throughout the state of Ohio. So Sandusky City Schools is following the existing protocols and existing guidelines as established by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. I know there are some decisions that are conference-based, Sandusky Bay Conference, which we are a proud member of. And so that's the answer. While it's not a very good one, perhaps, it is the response. Dr. Stewart, do you want to add to that, or is that?
Well, yeah, and same thing. We are bound to those OHSAA requirements, but also our conference. And one thing that we do have control over is some of our extracurricular activities, and we've decided to put those on hold until after January. And we think it's a very good decision for the safety of all our staff and our students.
Just in terms of real-time updates, so I saw that I think one of our staff members responded that the total number of cases can currently be found on the district's website. So if you go to our website, I think probably KK responded, Ms. Pugh, who is our marketing and communication person, responded also for full knowledge of our audience. Our building principals are also online. So if there are specific questions that we can refer to them to deal with you one-on-one, we'll do that. We'll answer district questions. We won't answer any specific student question about a particular student. We'll talk broadly about our student body. But if you have a particular question for any of our specific buildings, we'll be able to we have staff members available to respond to that. My friend Brenda Jones has asked about why are the retakes for seniors only? And I'm assuming that has to do with what we discussed the other day, Dr. Kate, about testing for high school seniors.
Yes, we will have opportunities for the other grades in the spring. Right now, we're 100% remote logistically. We would prefer in terms of safety to limit the interactions right now because of being remote. We decided to go remote for safety reasons. And so we want to not inhibit any of the seniors from having an opportunity to graduate. And so we're going to bring them in. The other students will have an opportunity in the spring.
So hopefully, Brenda, that answers your question. Please feel free to keep them coming. Shay White wants me to know that she's watching, so we're giving a shout out to Shay. All right. There's a question from maybe Janet replied to Ricardo about, have you discussed an option for teachers to teach? Or maybe that's the one about teaching from home. So the answer is yes. I sent out a video to my faculty and our faculty and staff just the other day. We covered a number of areas within the district, and my expectations of that. And coming to work daily to work in an environment that is secure and safe, clean, with all of our tools makes sense to me in terms of how we can go about it. Now, obviously, individuals who have conditions that are managed on a case-by-case basis, we're working with those employees to address those concerns. And quite candidly, there are people across this community, even in the pandemic, that are getting up and going to work every day. We admire those blue-collar workers and the people who are essential. Many of those people are in my family. They're serving food. They're fixing things in people's homes, and they're sales clerks and what have you. And so we appreciate the hard work of people in our community, and our staff, our faculty and staff, all 500 of us are committed to that as well. So I know the governor, there was another comment from Janet Uller about Governor DeWine and his encouragement of people working remotely. So we acknowledge that. So in Sandusky City Schools, this is the direction that we're moving in, and we'll continue to move in that direction. As more dynamics occur, we want to be flexible to make modifications as we deem it's necessary to do so. There was another comment by Ms. Euler regarding streaming for a swim meet was free. How about other winter sports? Will this be accessible without a fee? So I think there is a fee, I'm assuming, attached to all streaming related
Yeah,
sports
and
events.
actually I got a clarification from our athletic director. It's $10.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
So I was pretty much ready to, I surrounded it, but
Yeah.
it's $10 for the streaming service. And I believe it is for athletic contests
It
at
is.
all.
Jen Schoenhart, hope you're doing well tonight, responded to a question about getting daily updates on the COVID and about it maybe not being in one place. So we'll review where it's at on the website. We'd like to have it in the same place, Jen, every time so that you know exactly where it is. If you're signed up for the text part of it, I know you get a direct memo every day. And we can maybe look at our website to see where that is so we can just get, again, one location. I kind of thought we did.
We do that.
We do, okay.
So just reminder, I had it in my PowerPoint. If you go to district and you go under Coronavirus Hub, it's in Coronavirus Hub. And if you scroll down to the middle, you'll see this as COVID-19 reporting. It has every day's report, it has a current day, and then has every day listed underneath it. So it is there. It's under Coronavirus Hub.
Okay, thank you very much. Jamie asked about seeking out emotional support options for children. She's interested to know how she can go about securing that kind of support.
Yes, and so again, access to social workers, counselors, give them a call, give them an email, and they will help you access the social and emotional supports that our children need.
So just if she wants to contact.
Yeah, so yeah, just contact Dr. Sturgill.
Oh, yeah, yes.
That would be the most direct. If there's any question about any of our protocols or rules or resource access, Dr. Sturgill handles those areas. If you have a question about academics and instruction and that sort of thing, Dr. Kate will handle those questions. If you have a question about finance or budgets or what things cost and what we're spending, Mr. Hall will answer those questions. And then, and of course, you can always email me directly at askdrsanders@scs-k12.net and or call me directly at my office at 419-984-1000. And we'll either answer the question or get you into the right area. Angela Aaron Gray has also noted that we should bookmark everything, which I guess allows some type of demarcation on our website. I'm sure that KK and that group knows about that. Thank you, Deshara, for watching. Thank you, Mr. Cole, one of our great young teachers for watching. And then let me keep scrolling down here. Let's see here. Miss Ewer, Janet Ewer has another question. Says, I'm sorry I missed a few minutes when you were sharing about the academic 5K goals. We should be addressing these questions to the counselors. Should we be addressing these questions to the counselors and administrators? Our teachers have so much on their plate. So you can ask our building principals who are aware of what's happening at the specific building. In fact, I would direct you there first. If you have a question about district policy as it relates to our academic priorities, Dr. Kate would be the person that you would contact. And if you don't know where to send it, my address is on the screen. You can email me there. Our commitment is to return your email and calls within 24 hours. And we've been pretty good about doing that. There's a question, let's see, about a camera being off. Okay, this sounds like a parent who's trying to get his kid to either not put the camera on or put the camera off. So I'll have to come back to that one. Michelle has a question. She says she has children in 3 buildings and they all had light afternoon so they could play in the snow. It was actually an assignment for one of them. I'll have to look into that. Trevor Haber has a question about the cost of viewing orchestra concerts. And does orchestra fall under the same umbrella with the other sports? I guess is the question in there.
For what, Doc?
For streaming and watching the student performances.
Orchestra.
Yeah,
There was
we
a
have
question
the
about
ability
that.
to stream, and we could stream activities also if we wanted to. So the answer is we have the ability to do that.
Miss Downing is watching. Thank you very much. Say hello to Todd. Beverly Noel Baker has asked a question. Shouldn't specials teachers be replying to dojo questions to them? I've had issues with one not responding. Regular teacher is awesome on responding or letting us know about any issues. So I guess this question about special teachers or paras responding on dojo. I imagine that
Special teachers should, and if there's a specific issue, then reach out to that building administrator if the specials teacher is not responding to you. If you reached out to that teacher and you have not received a response, then you go to that building level administrator with your concern.
Yeah. And again, anytime there's a question, I just want to assure everybody, we have a lot of forums and a lot of transparent, open meetings, and we pride ourselves, honestly, in being able to be straightforward with our community. And so if there's ever a time that you are unsure about something, go to your building principal, go to your teacher, go to your building principal. If you're not clear at that point, call my office. We'll get you to the right question. Now, you may not always like the answer all the time, but we will get you the response and what our rationale and logic is for it. And hopefully that would help. So there was a question from Melinda regarding teachers in the buildings. I addressed that earlier. Mrs. Gloria Lewis, one of our great employees, is watching. Question from Donna Darlene. How do you get lunches for the kids when you work? So I imagine this is a parent who's working and they're trying to figure out how to get access to the lunches. Maybe we could follow up with her individually.
Yeah, and if we get the information, I'll follow up, or Brad will follow up. I'll follow up with her tomorrow morning.
Brandy, there's a question from Mr. Trino about how is morning distribution going? I'm assuming that's the breakfast.
Yeah,
So is it one time per day? Or is it twice a day?
we go twice a day. We have morning and we have times that go in the afternoon.
Okay. And we keep tallies on the number
Yes, we do.
of distribution, so we can get data on how many we distribute, what locations they were distributed from, where we need to make shifts if one location has more demand than another. So between Mr. Kraft and Dr. Sturgill, we can get that information. Brandy Needling would like me to know that Mr. Kraft is doing an amazing job. He returns calls and tries his best to work through any issues. We appreciate that. Ms. Sparks, thank you, Ms. Maddie. What about teachers being able to work from home? So I answered that question again. I'll talk about it one more time. So the district's position is that we want our employees, because our custodians come to work, our secretaries come to work, our cleaning staff come to work, and we want all of our employees to come to work. So if there are people who have some condition or some medical related element that limits their capacity to do so, we'll work with them to address those concerns. And that's the position that we've taken. As things continue, we'll continue to review our matters, but that's where we are, and that's where we're going to stay at this moment for the district's work. Where would someone who is interested in applying go to for custodial or other jobs?
Yes, our website and our human resources website has the information on there, and they go and apply on our website.
Okay, so we really have been having a bit of a struggle, honestly, in finding employees in this area. So if you have folks who are looking for a good place to work with great insurance and great benefits, we're the place. So if you have some folks, by all means, go to our website, and you can even come in and talk to people or call, and we'll get you the kind of support to get you where you need to go. Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole wants people to know that students can take advantage of entrepreneurial opportunities during the winter season, shoveling snow in neighborhoods to earn money and things of that nature. And I'm sure if you contact Mr. Cole, he'd be more than happy to help assist you in preparing how you might manage that. Then there is, let's see here, some of these questions are getting repeated. Let's see here. Are you having wrestling? Are we wrestling as in the sport of wrestling?
Yes, we are.
Yes, yeah. I would imagine the wrestling coaches would be a little disappointed if we were not. So the answer is yes. Whatever grade your child is in, call the principal of that building. They can get you in contact with the right coach, the right individual who can assist you with that effort. Let's see here. I'm just going to scrolling down. Some of these we've answered multiple times. How do you get lunches? So Mr. Kraft is responding to the person who asked about getting lunches when they're working.
Oh, good. Okay.
Here's a parent as a kid, a son at the regional center. Let's see here. Let's see, that's independent learning day. I'm not sure I understand that question, but there's a Ashley Guasorio, and if Ms. Toff is on the line, which she should be, I'm going to ask you to respond to that question that's specific to your building about Wednesdays and what the team is doing on a particular Wednesday. Let's see here. Will there be another survey with comments about options before we? So Mr. Trevino's asked a question about will there be another survey with comment options before we look to return January 19th? The answer is no. We don't anticipate doing any more surveys between now and January 19th. Now, obviously, if there are dynamics that happen at the state level or some other circumstances, we would certainly make modification, but our plan is our plan. And once we return in January 19th, our position is that we're going to be in school through June. And so we'll be making modifications where we need to in different buildings as various kind of things come up. Let's see here. Thank you, Ms. Rose Ott, one of our teachers. Okay, so I'm looking through some of these, and some are questions some people are responding to each other, and that's certainly fine. So anything that, KK, anything come up on the list that I didn't? I try to go down them one by one and not repeat the same question over and over. Is there anything that's coming up that I didn't have on my phone or anything we need to respond to? Ms. Pugh?
Hi, Dak. Yep, I was just unmuting myself.
Okay.
So one question that we missed was if there was any update on the estimated time of arrival of the new laptops.
Okay. Dr. Sturgeon?
Yes. So unless you want to talk, you want.
I'll back you up.
You back me up?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are.
Well,
looking.
one of y'all answer the question, okay? Well, y'all backing each other up.
But Eric is online. No.
Okay.
So we are going to receive the laptops at the end of December, and we look to pass out the laptops probably the first or second week of January. Eric, am I right about that? I know you're on there, but that's part of our plan.
Is that before?
Yeah, as soon as it gets here, we'll roll it out the next week. So
Yeah.
and we already started organizing and making Excel sheets about who needs to get a new laptop. So it's in the works.
I can also assure you that Eric and I know, and we update Dr. Sturgill whenever we can assure you that we're checking almost every other day to find out where they are and when they're going to get theirs.
And family, just a reminder, we were tracking October 31st, of course, pandemic, everybody's back ordered, and now they're end of December. And so once we get them, I know our people are going to work tirelessly to get them ready to pass out to our students.
So I would suggest when we get back the 1st of January that we send some kind of daily update on our website so people know they're in, we're doing it by alphabet at this school, at this date, at this time. We probably can't over communicate on this. Now, everybody's not getting a brand new one, right?
No.
There's only certain
That's correct.
students based upon the condition of their current one.
Right.
And if you're having trouble with your current laptop for some reason, Dr. Sturgill, or no, Eric, where should they go, Mr. Eckenrode, if they're having any kind of current issue with a current laptop, an
They
existing
can
laptop?
either email techhelp@scs-k12.net or call our hotline 419-984-1012, and we'll schedule you an appointment to get your computer set.
And KK, for these slides, let's keep that number. When you do my address and phone number, let's put that hotline number on there so that it'll be on all of our slides going forward. So if people have questions about their technology, they'll be able to get that. We got about 5 minutes left. KK, any other questions that I missed?
Just a few more coming in. One is the streaming service we are using for our athletic events, is it the same to what other districts are doing around us? For example, other districts don't have to pay to watch their student athletes, so why do we have to?
Okay.
I don't know that answer, but I have to get back with them on that.
Okay.
Yeah, or what other people are doing versus what we're doing. According to Mr. Copley, we were one of the few school districts that were streaming our athletic events.
Well, we'll find out here pretty soon, won't we? Yeah. So we'll find that out, find that person, Ms. Pugh, and communicate to them directly. We'll get a hold of Mr. Copley. He's managing some matters. Mr. Downing or someone from that staff can give us an update on that. Anything else, KK, from anything popping in here currently as we get ready to close?
Yeah, another one. Since the Erie County Health Department is behind in their contact tracing, what are we doing to coordinate with staff to minimize our COVID exposure spread?
Excellent question. Dr. Sturgill?
Yeah, and I would, I think the state that they're behind is an assumption, because when I talk to them, I don't get any discussion about them being behind. And when I talk to our people, that is never said. So I think that people are assuming they're behind in what they're doing. So far, they've been on daily, on track with stuff that they're working with us on collaboration. So again, we ask people, and we're telling our people, if you're sick, stay home. We know it's serious, and we ask our people again, if you're sick, stay home, and we'll go from there.
I can say this, throughout the day, every day, I get multiple contacts from Dr. Sturgill, Health Department, Pete Shade and his crew down there doing an amazing job under very challenging circumstances. We appreciate Pete's leadership and the staff down there that's doing a tremendous job for not just Sandusky, but for the whole county. So let's recheck that situation, and we can post any updates. Of course, our goal is to be as transparent and as open as possible within the rules and regulations and protocols of our district's work, our vision, and to communicate that out as often as we can. Again, if you have a question for the district, you can email me at askdrsanders@scs-k12.net. You can call my office at 419-626-6940. If you have a very specific question about your child at a particular school, contact that principal, contact the teacher or the principal. That's where you'll get your most exacting answer. But we'll be happy to respond to any questions that may come up. Anything else, Ms. Pugh, before I make my closing remarks, and we'll close out at 6?
Just one more.
Sure.
Will the free Buckeye internet be available after December 23rd?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So if you need it, contact us and we'll make sure we'll help you make sure you have that cable. So yes, it's been a little old school here back.
Okay. So let me say we're getting about a minute or so from our 6 o'clock hour. We started 5, we end at 6. But if there's a follow-up question that you have about something you didn't get a chance to ask online, or there was more information that you need, please feel free to contact me, contact any of our administrators that are present. We'll be happy to promptly respond to any of the questions. Let me say in closing tonight, thank you to my team for their ongoing help and support, to our faculty and staff who are putting in tremendous work, effort, energy, passion, dedication, consistent with our Blue Streak pride and tradition and spirit of excellence that we have in the Sandusky City Schools. We'll remind everyone that we're in very challenging times, and that we should use our best awareness of where we're at, what we're doing. If you don't feel well, if you're an employee of the district and you don't feel well, we're encouraging you to stay home. Obviously confer with your physician, and do your very best to stay safe and healthy. I want to thank our Board of Education, Board President, Ms. Murray, Ms. Patterson, all of our board members for their ongoing support in these amazing times. I'll close by saying we're in the holiday season. We want to encourage everyone to be aware and conscious of matters. And we look forward to communicating with you probably early in January as we get ready to return to school. We'll probably have another one of these sessions where we'll be talking about the return on January 19th and what our process will be going forward. Thank you for joining us tonight. And as always, we say, go Blue Streaks.